Welcome to r/AskReddit. To those that live in Italy, how is the situation right now with coronavirus and lockdown? Currently watching a university lesson from my bed, but my father went to work this morning. I'm in a region where the lockdown started officially today, so it's all pretty new. Let's hope people don't storm the grocery stores. I'm a nurse student in Italy. Right now I can't go to the university. I can't go to work. We shouldn't go out unless it's a necessity. So basically we need to stay home and finally finish our Netflix list. It may sound pretty cool for the first few days, but after a while it gets pretty depressing and boring. I got so bored that I cleaned everything at home. Sounds familiar to me? I'm in China and I've been stuck in my apartment for nearly 2 months. I can get food delivered and go to the convenience store to buy other things, but nearly everything is closed other than supermarkets and pharmacies. It was, as you said, pretty cool for the first few days. Now it's just terrible, although it is slowly getting better again. I hope things get better for you and the rest of Italy soon, but I'm afraid this is probably just the beginning. I have a daughter living in Toronto, but she works in Milano. She is housebound, on lockdown. Her courses are being done via Skype. Her employer has asked her not to come to work. She is not allowed to leave her house unless it is an emergency, which I hope never happens. She says there has been quite a bit of panic buying at the supermarkets. All the restaurants are pretty much empty, however they are allowed to be open between 6 AM and 6 PM. People who are seated should have at least a 1 meter distance between them at restaurants. Tourist areas, Duomo in Milano, are devoid of almost anybody. All school and universities remain closed. All sporting or any kind of events have been suspended. Ski resorts are closed. The same for cinemas, theaters, discos. All church services have been suspended. Whilst the measures may seem extreme, Italy has been the hardest hit worldwide besides for China, so it's necessary to curb travel and cultural activities to stop the spread of the virus. For a couch potato like me it's awesome. I can watch my uni lessons online, and in my free time, play a fuck ton of video games or work out a little bit. Also I think we are allowed to leave and get some fresh air. So except for the deadly virus thing everything is okay. I live in Hong Kong, so we had protests and the virus back to back. My university has been closed since mid-November. Sounds like hell to some people, but I'm really enjoying it. Sorry for asking a question here as I'm not exactly answering yours opus. Are tourists allowed to fly out of Italy, or are they supposed to stay in Italy until the lockdown is over? Tourists can fly in and out freely. I live in Verona. I'm a 19 years old living alone because my mother and my father took it in Milan, and for the first time I'm home alone for a month. Pretty nice though. I play GTA 5 with my friends like the old days, doing some indoor workout and experimenting with cooking. I'm becoming a good chef. The school is quite annoying but it's okay. I wake up at 7:30 and at 8 AM I start a 5 hours straight in front of my laptop for online lessons, and then I go cooking my lunch. I don't go out, if not to buy some food and maybe some cigarettes, because the situation it's not good. There is no space left in the intensive therapy, so if I get really sick, they would have to remove someone to save me, since I would have better chance of surviving. This is why I almost never go out. Once a week. I don't want to be the reason for someone death. Basic Italian uni student with bad English here. Basically in the past we used to cough to cover up a fart. Nowadays we fart to cover up a cough. Brilliant. I'm Italian but live abroad. Currently my brother is in one of the high risk zone in the north. He works at the university as a researcher. Today he went to work, and the laboratory was empty. Starting from tomorrow the uni told him to stay at home, and that the structure will be temporarily closed. He was planning an exchange with a laboratory in Ireland for April, but I think it's cancelled. He's worried of course and a bit bored too, but he understands that the situation is critical, and that we have to give our contribution to avoid the spreading. My cousin is in Polona where the situation is surreal. According to him, no one is on the streets and the supermarket got assaulted multiple times from people concerning that they would have run out of food, which is not going to happen, since supplies are guaranteed. My parents live in a small city in the south where only 4 cases were registered in the entire region so far, so they are not much concerned, but they are taking precautions if the situation will get worse, and they are trying to stay at home when possible. Luckily their jobs are not at risk, because my mother works in public administration and my father can work on remote. I live in Germany instead. Yesterday I went to a pharmacy and I could get a couple of face masks just in case. The ladies there understood from my accent I wasn't German, so they asked me where I was coming from. As soon as I said I was Italian they jumped away. I felt like I needed to specify I was living here and had no contact with Italy since December. That felt bad. Right now I'm in my office in Tuscany, 20 miles away from my home. This morning at 7 AM we hadn't any problem moving around, but I don't know how things will evolve outside my workplace. There are a lot of different informations about what you can and what you can't do from all the media, so I'm here hoping to not getting sick and still be capable at least to move to home tonight and maybe came back to work in the next days. Some say life goes on like always, others say everything is compromised. I'm just here, waiting for things to develop. I have friends in northern Italy quarantined in their homes, my mum in hospital working with face masks, and generally people freaking out. They say grocery shopping will be guaranteed, so overall I'm not even worried about it. Maybe is a chance to have some days off and enjoy my home and some games. High school student here. Schools are simply closed, and the TV is full of ads about washing your hands and avoid contact with other people. Edit. I forgot to say that each morning we have approximately 3 hours of video lessons from our laptop. Since yesterday night, every town is locked down. I cannot move 5 kilometers without a proper reason, work, or a relative very sick and so on. Otherwise I could get arrested. The government, immediately backed up by lots of celebrities, is basically saying please, stay home. Our emergency departments in the hospitals are collapsing. Literally, chemos or surgeries that are not urgent are being delayed. How's a chemo not urgent? Bars and restaurants can only open from 6 AM to 6 PM. It's been over a month that places where big number of people could meet have been closed. Discos, sports centers, clubs, schools, and universities. It's crazy. South Italy here. I'm waiting for the virus to spread as in northern Italy, if not worse. A lot of idiots rushed south to their mommy after the government declared the region of Lombardy a red zone, and here the people seems to not understand the situation. Yesterday morning there were a lot of people strolling around not caring about what's happening. Yesterday night the Prime Minister declared all Italy red zone, and a lot of people rushed to 24/7 stores to buy food. I decided to stay at home for at least a week, but my parents and the parents of my friends are going around the city like it's not their problem. There will be another infection peak here in the southern Italy in a few days. It's pretty shit actually. I'm sophomore and I feel like it will be really hard to catch up, because we will have barely a month of actual school left. Moreover, the lockdown is causing severe economical issues, especially to those who own small businesses such as restaurants, clothing stores etc. A lot of these activities will go bankrupt because they have close to no customers. However, I think the only thing we can do is contain the infection, so the lockdown is necessary. If you're a good citizen and you don't have a job it's hard to tell. For example, I only poke my nose out of the house to go to the grocery store, and I can tell you there is no big problem there. Sometimes there are empty shelves, but it's not something surreal. Though if you look at the streets, there are so few people, some wearing masks, with no social interaction. It's weird. And the fact you don't have to go to school or university, and you can't even move out normally, makes this whole thing feel weird as fuck. It's like time has stopped. I'm a university student, and since last week we have been doing lessons via Microsoft Teams or Google Classrooms. I don't really like these methods, but it's the only alternative, so there's a fair amount of psychosis between a big chunk of the population. Supermarkets have been raided overnight. We are advised to not leave our houses unless it's necessary, but basically you can fill a form on your own to certify that you need to go to work. So basically everyone is running around without a real examination of the form, because literally anyone can do that. The only thing that has been really impacted by this is nightlife and sports, since every league of every sport is suspended until April. I'm Air Force stationed in Pisa. I was thinking my drive to work this morning would be quiet after the lockdown. Nope. Cars on the roads like normal, and saw flights taking off from the airport. Not sure how people are flying, unless it's within the country, currently waiting on word on how the military will go forward with the new decree. Someone from Italy went to Malta carrying the virus. Malta is that dot of land you see beneath Italy. Schools weren't stopped yet, though they should be, and Malta only has 12 beds ready for the virus, and I'm worried it's too little. I'm a doctor who works at one of the largest hospitals in Rome. The situation seems much worse than reported in the news. We are scared, but we continue to go to work for a sense of responsibility by turning. We do not have suitable safeguards for our protection, such as FFP3 masks. I'm 14 and live in Italy. It's not bad. I don't have to go to school, but I still have to do homework, but it's not too much. We will have virtual lesson this week. I have finally time to read Plato's Republic, and I can finally get better at doing the Rubik's Cube. I have a lot of free time, so I joined the Conlanging Discord to learn something new. This will last until the 3rd of April, and I'm really happy about it. Our area is in lockdown since Sunday. Life is still quite normal here, except for the lines at the grocery stores. We need a paper in order to travel from a city to another. You can travel for emergencies and for work. Got some extra food just in case. Get ready, fellow European Redditors. This is not a joke. I'm a student in high school and it only just got dramatic the last days. Last week, out of the sudden you get to know that you won't have school next week. We were all pretty cool with it and rather happy about not having to study. But now it gets worse every day. Cinemas are closed. A lot of bars and restaurants are closed. Libraries are closed. Churches are closed. Clubs are closed. And since yesterday we know that we won't be going to school for a whole month. It's a really scary situation. You don't know what to do, and you hope that it's over soon. The worst thing is that they suggest you not to leave your house at all. Italian here. I'm in high schooler and we are now attending online lessons. Since yesterday evening, all Italy is in quarantine. The most frightening thing is going to be the economy. Not only stock prices, but all the small businesses that survived and that support small communities. My parents own a big electrotechnical company, but their biggest clients are the government, airports and big corporations that now don't allow anyone inside. It's looking pretty bad and the worst is yet to come according to academic studies. A question: how is the food situation handled? Can you go to the supermarket? Did you have to get supplies beforehand? Everything is in lockdown. You can't move without a valid reason. This wouldn't have happened if it weren't for all those stupid people who kept traveling, even though they were explicitly told not to. There are many infections caused by this. Literally, sick people escaped from quarantine to go back to their native town. Also, the other day, as soon as the first red zones no traveling from / to those zones were announced, the train stations of those zones were full of people running away. It's surreal how stupid people can be.